What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Review for Solo Leveling Season 2. This is episode, what is it, 10? Uh,
Episode
yeah,
eight.
sorry. So with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Um. Oh, well. Okay. I'll say this: the the final fight between Genu and Baron is so far one of the uh best animated
Yeah, it was really
sequences
good.
I've seen. Yeah, since like the the I would say as good as like the Genu and the Igris fight.
Yeah.
Um. However, there are like numerous cut dialogue and scenes and a deleted character introduction from the manhwa that pretty much like it just made it clear that they're rushing this toward this the Jeju Island raid.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising considering, like, you would think that at least the opening would spoil that, but I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't, like, really hint at that at all.
Yeah, I thought that the fight between Jinyu and Baron would be the season finale. That was everybody's like prediction. Even like Alex Lee, who voices Jinyu, thought this was going to be the finale, but we were so wrong after figuring this out. Finding out that this fight between Baron and Jinyu turns out to be just like almost like a near mid season. You know, just like a mid-season fight, and then now we have 5 more episodes left that is literally just going to cover the entirety of the Jeju Island raid.
Yeah. In the beginning of this episode, they even more, I guess they even more so set up the Jeju Island stuff, because we see
Yeah,
what these giant ants are doing, and that they're just going around like eating
yeah,
people. Um,
yeah. Apparently, one ant was enough to kill at least 200 people in one of the islands. I
yeah,
don't know. They confirmed that like it's one of the islands in Japanese territory. I don't know if it's. They didn't really specifically state what island. Like the only 2 islands that I know that they're close enough to Jeju are Tsushima or Aki Island
yeah,
or Iki Island.
yeah, because they bring in the Japanese branch of the Hunters Association to, I guess, as a joint, I guess, to participate in a joint operation for the Jeju Island. Um, and they're basically like talking about the um like what they found out about the ants, because I guess they captured one and were able uh to get some of this information about what the how long the ants live, and why they, like, I guess they target people that have high mana levels, or just something like that. They're attracted to that. um
Yeah, they had they're attracted to high
yeah,
mana levels. So what they're I guess what they're planning on doing is even though they're bringing in all their top S rank hunters from both countries, they're looking to to use themselves as a diversion by spreading out like in different areas to draw most of the ants away from the queen, which is their main target. So once they destroy the queen, uh, that it'll likely just leave the ants alone, just to like die off within a year. But of course, they want to try to exterminate all the ants as possible because they don't want them flying back into like any other populated island or worse, like flying into the mainland of either Japan or Korea.
yeah. I just find it funny because I remember I mentioned that the idea that this has like a hunters association. I mean, that idea in and of itself just reminds me a lot of Hunter x Hunter. And then we have these giant ants that are eating people and are, more, I guess, intelligent. It reminds me a lot of the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter. I would not be surprised if the writer for Solo Leveling like was or at least maybe, I guess, pretty heavily inspired by Hunter x Hunter. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's different enough to where it's not like a total ripoff, but it really is like very similar in a lot of ways, to like certain elements from that series.
Yeah. So there was another scene, like I mentioned earlier, uh, that it was cut from the manhwa. So there was supposed to be a character introduction of Thomas Andre, who's a member of the American branch of. I think he's part of the Scavengers Guild from America, which is the same guild that Huang Dongsu is apparently a part of. He was only there to talk to Chairman Go about Huang Dongsu's appearance in one of the earlier episodes of season 2, and they wanted to talk about like whether or not if he'll have any involvement uh, in participating in the Jeju Island raid. But of course, Thomas Andre turns it down because like he like apparently if it's for a good price or something like that. So like in the well yeah in the end like Thomas Andre and the American branch have no involvement in the Jeju Island raid.
I guess they determined that maybe that's why they cut the scene. Like it wouldn't really be important later on. Maybe.
Yeah, but still, like Thomas Andre is still like an important
Yeah.
character. Like possibly, if they want to introduce him, like
I guess they might maybe
they
they
want to
do it in a
introduce him for the
different
next
way
season.
in the anime. If he is in the series or if he plays an important role later on.
Yeah, because because I will kind of spoil it a bit because um Huang Dongsu does eventually face off against Jinu later on.
Mhm.
If I were to assume that, like that might happen in season 3, Thomas Andre also gets involved in that confrontation too. So I don't know, like it. I don't know if like if I don't know unless they add Thomas Andre, the Thomas Andre scene in the next episode. I don't know if like they'll ever introduce him in this season
I guess it's
at
possible
all.
they could
'Cause
use
they
they could do like some kind of a flashback considering they definitely like cut a lot of I mean they just had like a montage of Jinwoo going through the the floors
Yeah.
and not really showing much of anything. So I guess it's always possible they could just like flash back to something that happened that we just we didn't see, of course, because there's probably a lot of stuff that happened that we didn't see considering they really
Yeah.
just rushed through all of that. Um,
Yeah. So back to the dungeon. We finally get the reveal of that last demon knight that Juno nearly kills, which turns out to be a female demon knight named Essel Radiru. Um, of course, like she initially puts up a fight, but Juno easily, you know, well, Juno easily defeats her to the point where she surrenders initially, and then she tries to sneak attack him before Genu catches her uh, doing it. I mean, I'm surprised like Genu is like at least lenient enough to not kill her, because the only reason why he doesn't do so is because he needs her to give him like what was it, a pass to uh, get past the 80th
Well,
floor.
I guess he needs her father to do it, um, because
Yeah.
like yeah, she tells him that he needs to talk to her father to get the the pass key or whatever he needs.
Hmm. Yeah. But what also makes this interesting is Juno like asks the father if he could borrow Essel, which kind of catches like both Essel and her father off guard, thinking that Essel like just gets surprised thinking that like that Juno wants to hook up with her or something like that. That's
Yeah,
what the initial hype
it's
for it
basically a
was.
running joke that she like I guess misunderstands his intentions, uh, and thinks that yeah like that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and so pretty much like he just over the course of the entire episode he just blasts through the remaining 20 floors of the demon dungeon with uh with Essel tagging along. I mean, even though like she's okay, so according to like I guess the lore, she would be like at the same level of an S rank hunter, but she's basically turned out to be like a carrier for Genu by just carrying a lot of the equipment on her
I
back while Genu does all the
Yeah, I was a
fighting.
little bit disappointed that she doesn't really do much or like try to. I mean, I guess I guess she kind of helps out at one point when Jinwoo is like kind of being pinned or is like not able to get out of like I think was it the grasp of what's his name, the demon lord. Yeah, I
Bara.
think he like Yeah,
Uh,
he's
Honor.
not really
Yeah.
able to get away, and I think she like throws something at him to get his attention, but that's about all she does.
Yeah. In terms of the Baron fight, it's revealed that Baron is the demon monarch of the
Yeah.
realm. Um, but there's one more thing that we forgot to mention is that earlier on in the episode, Genu asks like what Essel's like job is, uh, and well, Essel like well, unlike some of the other beasts, like or like what was it Baruka and the High Orc Kagarglan, who have this like command in their heads over and over, saying like they need to destroy the humans. Uh, like her command is to protect like the area that she's
Oh,
guarding
right,
alongside with
right.
the other
Yeah, so
knight.
that I think in that scene he was also trying to get more information about the system from her.
Yeah, but unfortunately, similar to what happened with Baruka and Kagargan, they're unable to like to really to answer that question. And whenever like they reach the point where Genu could get the answer, it just cuts off at a certain point.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like she was like glitching out or something. And she couldn't really tell him anything. Um, yeah, I mean, it definitely leaves me with a lot of questions about like what how the system works and what it is. Uh, but
Yeah, I mean, on I at this stage of the story, um we won't really get much answers on that whole
yeah,
thing. I mean, we've still barely get like a more we I mean, it's been giving us a lot more questions about the whole system thing. Not to mention the fact that there's still like Genu's dad still running about that uh that he could be related with the whole thing as well.
yeah.
So and with Genu being outed as an official S rank, I'm pretty sure his dad will likely get wind of that thing, get wind of the news too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought I guess the Bahrain fight, it was pretty impressive. I mean, I will say, like, at least it seemed like Jinwoo was kind of having some trouble at some points, but of course, knowing his character, I mean, he just easily gets out of it anyway. So,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say he easily
well,
got
I
out
guess
of it.
with
I
some
mean,
assistance
he was nearly
from Essel and his other shadow minions, but of course he eventually just runs out of mana, so they go away. So it's just him fighting Baron. Uh,
I mean, the way he defeats Baron too was
yeah,
just
just yeah,
savage. He
just
just
uppercuts him.
yeah, I mean, well, first he rips off both his
Yeah,
arms, and then he cuts him like where he like literally just uppercuts his entire damn head off,
yeah,
and yeah, and that's pretty much it. And now that he's completed it, he more than likely has everything he needs to get the ingredients to cure his mother.
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I guess the really disappointing thing in this episode was just how quickly they rushed through everything for him just getting to Baron. I do kind of wish they would have spent a little bit more time on him going through the dungeon and maybe sort of developing, because I know a lot of people were looking forward to seeing Essel. Like maybe they would have spent a little bit more time on maybe just developing their friendship or whatever. But they don't really go into it at all, so it's a little bit disappointing, I guess, in that regard too. That there's not really, like, we only get like some interaction with them, but it's just we could have had, I guess, a few episodes worth of it, but we don't get that because it definitely seems like they're trying to get to the Jeju Island stuff as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, overall it was I mean I think the only highlight I have is the Baron and Jinwoo fight.
Yeah,
Um the whole stuff before this is a little bit disappointing in the fact that they did intentionally shorten some dialogue from the manhwa, deleted certain scenes, including deleting the introduction of Thomas Andre, who is supposed to be a character that Genu eventually faces off against later on. Not obviously not in this season, but likely maybe season 3 if they decide to adapt that point.
yeah,
But based on like how much material that they like this entire season, like they just blasted through like this much faster than I thought it would. And with 5 more episodes left, they're more than likely going to be able to have enough material to adapt the entire Jeju Island arc.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like you said, that there would be enough to adapt that arc. I thought it might be a longer arc, considering how much it's been hyped up, but I guess not. If there's like 5 episodes, where they can only adapt it in like 5 episodes. But I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, it's good if considering they're like really trying to get to it as fast as possible. But yeah, I mean, I agree though. I thought the best part of the episode was probably this fight, just because of how well animated it was. And then it was kind of interesting to see like what the ants are doing, and I'm interested to see, like, I guess to finally get to the Jeju Island arc in the next episode. But yeah, I will say I was a little bit disappointed with because I did actually find Essel to be somewhat interesting, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more with her character and and Junwoo. Maybe we'll get a little bit more of that in the next episode, but based on what you've said, it seems like they're probably going to, he's going to leave that dungeon, and then we're probably not going to see her again. So
yeah, I mean, okay, well, there okay, so there isn't like a mobile game original storyline for the Solo Leveling Arise mobile game that involves Essel somehow appearing in the real world, and her eventually interacting with Jinwoo again.
I guess it's possible they could adapt some plot lines from that game if they wanted to.
I mean, it's not a storyline that's in a manhwa, so I don't know if they're willing to go that direction to to even include Essel.
Well, also, I think it's worth bringing up that they've been including a lot of anime original stuff too. So it's possible maybe they could try to fit her into the plot and just have it be some like anime original stuff instead of like trying to directly adapt it from the manhwa.
But at the same time, like I mentioned before, like they cut out like a couple important character introductions.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned in this episode, they cut out Thomas Andre. What was it? During the High Orc dungeon in which Gino was involved in, there was supposed to be an introduction of Gino's cousin, who's apparent, who was asked to be to take part in Gino's new guild that he's building alongside Jinwoo. But apparently they cut her scene as well. Mm. So in terms of Essel, like I don't know what they're gonna end up doing with her. I mean, as much as people really liked her character in this episode, it's really not likely that she'll ever come back. I don't know, in an official capacity, unless they put in some kind of anime original scene, which she comes back.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying.
In terms of but unfortunately for the people who like Essel, she's not going to be appearing again anytime soon.
Yeah, but yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.